Now, anti-war protests are escalating across the world for the second consecutive day, which follows US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities on Sunday. There are images that have surfaced of protesters who gathered outside the White House to demonstrate against the US full-fledged entry into the Israel-Iran war. Protesters chanted anti-Trump slogans and called on the Trump administration to stay out of the region. And similar scenes unfolded in New York City as well, where hundreds of protesters chanted "No war" on Iran as they marched through New York to voice their opposition to the US bombing of Iran's 3 nuclear facilities. Several dozen demonstrators hit the streets in Los Angeles to show their opposition to the US bombing of Iran's 3 nuclear facilities. The protests took place at Los Angeles City Hall and across town outside the Wilshire Federal Building, where armed soldiers stood guard. Among the protesters were Iranian Americans who opposed the US involvement in Israel-Iran war.
No! And we will not let
This was the president that promised us not to get into any forever war. And here he is going again, following Netanyahu, following instructions from Netanyahu. I can't even believe that the United States is following Netanyahu.
Hopefully it'll stop right where it is right now. And they're going to negotiate, they're going to work it out, and just leave it as that, get out of everything. But apparently it doesn't look that way.
In Canada, a hands-off Iran protest also took place outside the US consulate office in Toronto. The demonstrators called on the Canadian government to sanction Israel and to implement an arms embargo on Israel.
I mean, I think it's horrible. I think the U.S. is trying to, along with Israel, is trying to manufacture consent for a war against Iran, just like they did for a war against Iraq.
So from the US to Europe, in central Paris, a group of protesters of Iranian origin held a demonstration calling for an end to the war.
They have to stop the war immediately. They have to do everything to stop wars across the whole world. It's not possible. It started with Ukraine, Lebanon, Gaza, Iran. It's just not possible.
Similar scenes unfolded in Asia as well. Hundreds of Muslims in Karachi held a demonstration in protest against Israel and the US. They held placards depicting Iran's supreme leader and chanted anti-America and anti-Israel slogans.